28F and 30M. When my partner hurts me, my reaction becomes the focus and his feelings take priority. I'm a 28F in a 1.5-year-long relationship with my 30M partner, and I'm looking for perspective on a recurring conflict dynamic. I want to apologize in advance for such a long post. When my partner does something that hurts me, I usually try to explain how I feel calmly. I don't always hit that mark and sometimes physically express my hurt/frustration via facial expression, inflection in my voice, or walking away once overwhelmed. In the most recent example, we were leaving an event. He triggered me at the event, but that's another story. And I walked slightly ahead of him, opened my own car door and got it. 1000% of the time, he opens all doors for me, but that was my way of displaying my frustration at that moment. Not my proudest moment. The issue is that once I reacted, opening my own door, my reaction becomes the focal point, and his hurt from my reaction becomes the priority. The original thing that upset me, which is multi-layered, never fully addressed. I want to add that this cycle has been going on for roughly 6 months at minimum. Even when I take accountability and apologize for my reaction, the conversation stays centered on how he feels disrespected or hurt. When I try to go back to what triggered me in the first place, he'll remind me that he apologized for that, and I'm told that we're talking about his feelings now, not mine. It's starting to feel like my feelings are conditional. His feelings become urgent. Repair only happens once he feels okay. Only okay if I supply emotional support. My original hurt doesn't get equal space. I'm trying to understand if I'm missing something here. Is it reasonable to want both people's feelings acknowledged, especially when one person was hurt first? Or is it fair for a partner to prioritize how your reaction made them feel over what caused the reaction in the first place? I genuinely want to grow and be accountable, but I'm starting to feel emotionally sidelined in conflict. I've been doing all of my own emotional repair post-conflict because we never fully addressed what originally started the argument. It's getting seemingly impossible to pour from an empty cup in these moments. Looking for honest outside perspectives. Too long did not read. When my partner hurts me and I react, my reaction becomes the focus and his hurt takes priority, even after I apologize. My original hurt often goes unresolved, and I'm wondering if this dynamic is emotionally unbalanced. He's manipulative, and it's working. Just broke up someone like this LOL. It's a relief. I was in something similar. ChatGPT helped me get through it by understanding the abuse, and eventually broke it off. I uploaded our text exchanges and learned a ton about what he was doing to me psychologically. How do I get over betrayal? My husband M30 and I F30 have been together 8 years and would be 2 years married on March. On January 6th, I found out that he has been cheating on me during the last half of the year with his coworker. I immediately asked for a divorce, and he didn't even argue about that. Packed some of his stuff and left. I made the mistake of asking why multiple times, and he said it's because he stopped loving me as a partner. I was completely blindsided by him and the whole thing. I was even leaving my mental health and migraine medication for months, so we could start trying to get pregnant. And the whole time while he saw what the withdrawal from my meds was doing to me, he was cheating, and at the same time encouraging me to keep up, so we could be parents. My mental health has suffered a lot this last month. I'm on sickness leave from work. I'm scared that I'll be fired when I go back, AMD, then my life will completely be ruined. I've been thinking of ending IRL. Or at least to hurt myself, because that would make me feel better. Right. I get especially sad when he comes to the house to hang with our pets, and to take some of his stuff. Today he took the last of his clothes, and getting home and seeing all gone was devastating. I feel weirdly humiliated by all that's happened. Living in a small town, everyone is going to know we didn't even get to our second wedding anniversary, and we're already getting divorced. I know it's very shallow to care about that, but I do. Some days I get so lonely, depressed, and clingy that I call him at 3 a.m. after hours of thinking about our lives together, and I ask him all kinds of questions. Did I change? Am I ugly? Boring? Mean? Is it because of my body? What has changed that made you stop loving me? I don't know if I just needed to rant, but any advice will be appreciated. P.S. English is not my forced languages, in case something doesn't make sense. Too long did not read. Husband cheated, and I don't know what to do with my life. I'm sorry. You need to speak to a professional therapist. My boyfriend 35M says he doesn't feel anything, and I'm 32F spiraling. Hi. My boyfriend 35M and I, 32F, have been together for almost a year. We're very different personality-wise. He's quiet, reserved, not very affectionate, and prefers staying home. I'm more extroverted, talkative, and I can be anxious. We've always known our communication styles are different. I used to get frustrated about the lack of affection, but I've learned to accept that he shows love differently. We live separately, see each other on weekends, sometimes once during the week too, and we stay in contact. A few days ago, we were at the movies, and I noticed he was unusually quiet and irritated. I asked what was wrong. He said sometimes he just doesn't feel like talking. I said I understood, but I felt like there was more. Later he told me something that completely threw me off. He said that sometimes he suddenly feels nothing. Not just low mood, but like he doesn't feel anything toward anything or anyone. I asked if that included me. He said he does care about me, but when those episodes happen, he doesn't feel anything for me either, or anyone. I asked if this happened in past relationships, and if it contributed to breakups. He said yes. At that point I panicked, and asked if he wanted to break up. He said he didn't know, he was just telling me how he feels. I kept pushing because I was anxious and needed an answer, which I know wasn't helpful. Eventually, after I pressured him, he said, "Fine, let's break up. If I regret it, I'll deal with it. If I don't regret it, then it was the right decision." We stood there, and then he basically took it back. He said he felt stupid for saying it, he wasn't sure of anything, and he doesn't want to lose me. He apologized and said he wants to stay together. I told him I forgive him, but I also told him he needs professional help. He agreed, and said he will see a psychologist. He also admitted he has never told anyone about this before, not friends, family, or exes, and he felt relieved after finally saying it out loud. Now I can't stop thinking the relationship is doomed, and that next time he has one of these nothing episodes, we'll break up for real. I'm also scared I'll spiral into anxiety again and make things worse. I'm already in therapy, and my psychologist told me to lower my intensity, focus on the present, define boundaries, and talk to him when he's in a good headspace. She also mentioned he might have some undiagnosed neurodivergence, not a diagnosis, just a possibility. My question is, how do I bring this up again in a healthy way? When is the right time? What can I ask for, without pressuring him into shutting down or ending things? Too long did not read. My quiet boyfriend told me he sometimes suddenly feels nothing toward anyone, including me, and it happened in past relationships too. It triggered a near breakup because I panicked and pressured him. He says he wants to stay together and will seek therapy, but I'm scared it'll happen again and the relationship will end. How do I talk about this without blowing everything up? It's called depression. He needs therapy. You need therapy. Maybe not being together is best now. Go work on your stuff. When people open up to you like that, you shouldn't immediately make it about you. Just leave. He will steal your joy if you stay. He's bringing you down and has already told you he feels nothing for you and wanted to break up. It's not worth it. You're only a year in, and it's this bad. Don't invest more time into this. Struggling in a volatile marriage involving trauma, trust issues, and major value differences. Looking for balanced advice. Too long did not read. Married 47M/45F in a blended family with a trauma-affected partner. Relationship is emotionally volatile with trust issues, constant conflict, financial tension, and an anxious avoidance cycle. I've made mistakes in the past, but feel overwhelmed by ongoing intensity and criticism. Wondering if this can improve, or if it's fundamentally unhealthy. I'm looking for an outside perspective on a long-term relationship that has been very intense and difficult. I care deeply about my partner, but I'm exhausted and unsure whether what we're dealing with can realistically improve, or if the relationship has become unhealthy. For context, we're both in our late 40s, married, and in a blended family. My partner has 5 children from 2 previous relationships, the most recent of which was abusive. She has a history of trauma and struggles with anxiety and emotional regulation. I've been divorced after a 15-year marriage. I earn significantly more than her and don't have dependents living with us. Some of the main issues are emotional volatility, frequent conflict, trust after past betrayals, differences in values and finances, and a cycle where her anxiety and my avoidance seem to constantly trigger each other. Here are a few examples of things we regularly struggle with. Recently, went golfing with her son. Before going, he was supposed to complete a chore but didn't do it, and was also talking back to his mom on the phone, which I didn't realize. She told him he needed to go home, do the chore, and that his dad would pick him up at 5 p.m. I didn't realize this was meant as a punishment. We went home, completed the chore together, and then I dropped him back home afterward so his dad wouldn't have to come out of his way to pick him up. Later, my partner was very upset and said I had overstepped and had no right to make decisions about her child. My intention was just to help, but it turned into a major argument. Another situation was when I took my partner to hospital. She expected me to look after her anxious 10-year-old for an undetermined amount of time while she waited to be seen. He has his own trauma from hospitalization a few years ago, which ended up being around 5 hours. I set a boundary that I wasn't comfortable committing to that for such an unknown length of time. This caused a lot of upset and was framed as me not being supportive enough. She said she didn't have anyone else who was available, so it landed on me. She did eventually contact his dad, who took him, but he's the abusive ex that she doesn't like to ask. There are frequent situations around logistics like cars, schedules, or plans where I'll offer to help or agree to something, then later realize I have a work meeting or prior commitment I forgot about. When I try to correct it, it often becomes frustration and blame rather than just solving the problem. I feel like small mistakes aren't allowed and quickly become emotional conflicts. When my partner is distressed or angry, she often raises her voice, criticizes me, and sometimes says things like she doesn't like me or doesn't want to be around me. Everything feels very heightened. I tend to shut down, avoid confrontation, or become passive-aggressive when I feel disrespected rather than addressing things directly. Trust is another major issue. Earlier in the relationship, there were betrayals on my part that weren't malicious, but did break trust, such as lying during COVID about seeing my parents and reaching out to friends for support when things felt overwhelming. My partner has gone through my phone and read private messages where I was venting or asking for perspective, which she sees as mudslinging and proof I can't be trusted. Finances also cause tension. We don't fully combine finances. We split rent, and most bills roughly 50-50, even though she has 5 children living with US and earns less, while I'm just one person. Other costs are harder to work out fairly and often lead to resentment. There have also been issues around family and boundaries. She has put very strong boundaries in place with her own family and mine, which has caused conflict around holidays and events like Christmas. There have been multiple situations where time with my family has become tense or turned into arguments about compromise and priorities. Both her sister and my friends have privately expressed concerns about the volatility of the relationship and warned me about how intense and draining it seems. There are moments of real connection. For example, we recently had a weekend away where we were close and enjoying each other's company. During that time, she asked me to reassure her that things wouldn't fall apart again, which shows how much fear there is about things going bad. She needs constant reassurance, and I find it exhausting going back through the past. We've tried relationship therapy, but I often don't feel emotionally safe in those sessions. It tends to feel like I'm on trial for past betrayals, and that everything comes back to needing to repair trust before anything else can improve. I know I contribute to the dynamic by avoiding conflict, not always communicating clearly, lying in the past, having nice guy tendencies, and becoming passive-aggressive when I feel disrespected. I'm working on this in therapy. At the same time, the relationship feels very volatile, and I don't feel built to handle this level of emotional conflict so often. I'm hoping to get some balanced perspectives on. Is this level of conflict and intensity common in relationships involving trauma? Am I enabling unhealthy dynamics by taking on too much responsibility and avoiding confrontation? Where am I genuinely contributing to the problems versus being treated unfairly? Is this something that can realistically improve with work, or are we fundamentally incompatible? Any insight would be appreciated. She's making you feel like shit when you're just trying to be a good stepdad and help out. It's just you and she came as a 5-pack. You've got to stand up for yourself. This sounds terrible, honestly. Do all 5 children live with you guys?